Now, when they found that ancient Greek computer thing...
After centuries of mystery and countless attempts to decode its secrets, the ancient computer from a Greek shipwreck has finally been unraveled. What once seemed like nothing more than a lump of bronze has now revealed its terrifying truth.
But nothing was known like these precision metal engineered gears.
How did ancient civilizations possess such knowledge?
There was a pattern of pillars on this wheel. It had structure, some sort of structure that revolved like a merry-go-round.
Why did it disappear without a trace? Join us on this episode as we reveal what was found in this 2,000-year-old computer.
Very few of these have been found, and it may be that ship owners and navigators in Greek times.
A message from over 2,000 years ago. Joe Rogan's podcast is known for wild conversations, but the one about the Antikythera mechanism? That one hit different. In episode 1284 of the Joe Rogan Experience, he sat down with Graham Hancock, who loves digging into forgotten parts of history.
Human beings were working on creating this geared and cogged machinery that reflected the patterns in the sky.
Oh, is that a recreation of it?
That's a recreation.
Their topic? A weird gear-filled machine from ancient Greece that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie, not in a shipwreck from over 2,000 years ago. This strange device, pulled from the bottom of the sea, wasn't just for show. It tracked the movements of the sun, moon, and planets, even following eclipse cycles. It was an ancient computer. Hancock called it a tool for navigation. Rogan, blown away, compared it to finding a laptop in a pyramid. How did people back then build something so complex? And why did it vanish? Hancock suggested that wars, invasions, or secret groups might have buried the knowledge. Maybe more ancient devices are still out there, stuck in the ocean, or collecting dust in forgotten museum boxes. Hancock also explained how this ancient mechanism showed profound knowledge of space, math, and timekeeping, stuff way ahead of what we're taught about ancient civilizations. The more they talked, the clearer it became. This wasn't just some broken relic. It was a message from the past, and we almost missed it. The surprise discovery. In 1901, a group of sponge divers from the Greek island of Symi were on a regular trip when they stumbled upon this mechanism that would change history. Led by Captain Dimitrios Kontos, the crew had dived near the island of Antikythera, and at about 45 meters deep, they found the remains of an ancient Roman shipwreck. This wasn't just any wreck. Inside the sunken ship were all kinds of treasures: giant bronze and marble statues, fancy pottery, rare glassware, jewelry, coins, and something strange no one noticed at first: a lump of corroded bronze and wood.
Therefore, the date of the shipwreck.
These amphors, they are between 65 and 50 BC.
That odd chunk sat ignored in an Athens museum for a year. Everyone was focused on the statues and gold. But on May 17, 1902, archaeologist Valerios Stais spotted something odd inside one of the rocks: a gear. He guessed it might be some old clock, but people thought he was reaching. A machine that advanced? From over 2,000 years ago? Most experts didn't buy it. Later, a German expert named Albert Ram took a closer look. He believed the device was a tool used to study the stars. Still, not much happened until 1951, when a British science historian named Derek J. de Sola Price became obsessed with the mystery. In 1971, Price teamed up with Greek physicist Charalampos Karakalos. Together they scanned the strange object with X-rays and gamma rays, revealing hidden gears and complex parts. Price published their findings in 1974, and finally helped the world see the Antikythera mechanism for what it truly was: an ancient Greek computer used to track the movements of the sun, moon, and planets. Why was this device on that ship? Who made this device centuries ahead of its time? The ancient analog computer. The Antikythera mechanism is often called the world's first computer, but don't think of it like a laptop. This hand-powered device was made over 2,000 years ago by the ancient Greeks, and it could track the stars, the sun, and the moon, and even predict eclipses. What's amazing is how complex it was. It has many tiny gears, and the way it works shows that the people who made it knew a lot about space and math. Experts believe it was built sometime around 200 BC, give or take a few years. But who made it? That's still a mystery. In 2008, a team studying the device noticed that the calendar matched one used in the Corinth area, including places like northwest Greece and Sicily. One of Corinth's most famous colonies was Syracuse, the home of the genius Archimedes. So, some people think his ideas may have inspired it. Others point to the Greek city of Pergamon. In the 1970s, famous explorer Jacques Cousteau found coins at the shipwreck that matched Pergamon's timeline. This city had one of the biggest libraries in the ancient world, second only to Alexandria. Then there's Rhodes, a busy island full of brilliant minds and skilled engineers. It was home to Hipparchus, one of the greatest astronomers of that time. The way the moon moves in the mechanism fits closely with Hipparchus's ideas. That's why many believe he either built it or helped design it. Also, the ship carrying the device had vases from Rhodes, and Rhodes sits in the perfect spot for the kind of sky events the machine was tracking. So it could have been built there at a famous academy by the philosopher Posidonius. In 2014, new research suggested that the machine might have started working around April 205 BC, based on moon cycles. Another theory even pointed to December 178 BC as the start date. Some researchers think the machine's style feels more Babylonian than Greek because it used arithmetic models rather than Greek-style geometry to predict things. Ultimately, we may never know exactly who built the Antikythera mechanism or where, but one thing's for sure, nothing this smart showed up again until the 1300s, when European inventors finally built machines as clever as this one. This forgotten device, found on the dusty bottom of the sea, rewrote what we thought we knew about ancient science. So, how advanced is it? How the Antikythera mechanism worked. The front of the Antikythera mechanism looks like the dashboard of an ancient machine. At its center is a fixed ring showing the path of the sun and stars, the zodiac. Each zodiac sign takes up equal space, just like how the Babylonians divided the sky into 12 equal parts, even though real constellations vary in size.
Now, when they found that ancient Greek computer thing, what is that?
Around that zodiac ring is another ring you can turn. This second ring shows the days and months from the Egyptian calendar. It has 12 months of 30 days, plus 5 extra days. The months are written in Greek letters, even though they are Egyptian names. You rotate the outer ring to match the zodiac signs to use it. Since the Egyptian calendar doesn't include leap years, the dates slowly shift. One full zodiac sign every 100 years. The machine is powered by a small hand crank, which is now missing. When turned, it brings the gears inside to life. These gears move simultaneously, the sun and moon's position, the moon's phases, and even when eclipses might happen. It also shows where the planets are, although no direct evidence of planet pointers has been found. The main gear on the front has 4 spokes and drives everything else inside. It helps align the date pointer to the correct Egyptian day. You can't choose the year though, so users must know which year the machine is set to or check the back for clues in the calendar cycles. As you turn the crank, everything inside moves together, like an ancient computer made of gears and wheels. On the back of the device are 2 large spiral dials. These spirals track longer calendar cycles. As you turn the crank, the spiral pointers slide along tiny grooves. When a pointer reaches the end of its spiral, you move it by hand back to the beginning to keep the machine working. The front has 2 main circular scales. One shows the zodiac signs, and the other resembles a calendar with numbers and tiny holes beneath it. For years, people believed it followed a 365-day Egyptian solar calendar, but newer research suggests it might follow a 354-day lunar calendar instead. Different teams used math and computer models to count the holes, and all got numbers between 350 and 355. That matches a lunar calendar based on moon cycles, not a solar one. One team says there's only a 1 in 10,000 chance that it has 355 holes, which makes the old idea probably wrong. So what does this mean? If the 354-day idea is correct, this might be the first known example of a civil lunar calendar from ancient Egypt, written in Greek letters on a Greek machine. This calendar likely helps users track moon phases, eclipses, and longer time cycles like the Metonic and Saros periods, which are used to predict eclipses. A hidden gear system likely moves a pointer around this calendar ring.
A system that allows you to track the passage of time and figure out where you are. It's some kind of navigational device. It's not fully understood.
The mechanism also tracked how the moon's orbit changed over an 8.8-year advanced cycle. There may have been a second pointer to show the real position of the sun, since Earth's orbit isn't a perfect circle, but no such part has been found. Same with the planets. We know the Greeks studied them, but no gear parts or pointers for them have been discovered yet. Device of records. In 2008, scientists discovered that the Antikythera mechanism wasn't just an early calculator. It was a complex device that could do way more than anyone expected. It helped determine the dates of big sports events like the Olympic Games in ancient Greece. Some of the writing on the device matched names of months used long ago in parts of Greece, like Epirus and the island of Corfu. That gave researchers more clues about where it was made and who used it.
Behind it, human beings were working on creating this geared and cogged machinery.
The back of the machine had 5 dials. 2 big ones showed the Metonic and Saros cycles connected to the moon and sun, and 3 smaller ones gave extra information, such as a dial for games, not just the Olympics, one for a 76-year cycle called the Calippic, and another that tracked tiny corrections in time. The biggest dial on the back was the Metonic dial. It followed a 19-year cycle of 235 full moons. That's very close to how long it takes for the sun and moon to align again in the same pattern, making it very useful for syncing lunar and solar calendars. The dial had a spiral track, and as it turned, a pointer followed it around, showing the current month using Old Greek month names like Artemisios and Apollaios. One of the most mind-blowing things about the mechanism was how advanced the gears were. It had at least 30 gears inside, each tiny and precisely made, like something from a medieval clock, even though it was built over 2,000 years ago. Some experts believe it could have had even more. There's still a mystery about whether the machine showed the positions of all 5 planets known in ancient times. So far, the gears for that haven't been found, except maybe one strange gear in a piece called Fragment D. This gear might have spun in a circle inside another gear to show where Jupiter was in the sky. The front of the device showed where the sun, moon, and maybe even planets were in the sky based on how they moved along the ecliptic, the path the sun follows. It didn't matter if people thought the Earth or the sun was at the center of the solar system. The results would have looked the same to someone watching from Earth. Later, scientists like Ptolemy and Copernicus tried to explain the skies with new ideas and more complex models.
At least 2,000 years old, 2,000 plus, and we know that there had to be more than one of these things.
But this machine, built way before their time, was already doing something amazing. Some modern experts think that the Greeks would have only needed 17 more gears to show the planets. One group of researchers even built a working model using the skills and tools the ancient Greeks had. They kept it simple and avoided overcomplicating it. The gears themselves were made from bronze, with triangle-shaped teeth. They were super small, just over 1 millimeter wide, and hand-cut, which means they weren't perfectly shaped. Thanks to new scanning technology, scientists have now figured out exactly how many teeth the gears had and how they work together. Even though we don't have all the answers, especially about the planets, we now know much more about this brilliant machine and how ancient people used science, math, and craftsmanship to build something ahead of its time. Decoding the mystery. When experts looked closely at the Antikythera mechanism, they noticed something odd. A big gap between one of the main gears, called the mean sun gear.
It's a dedicated calculating machine, and it uses bronze gear wheels to calculate the cycle.
And the front part of the case. That gear was large and had strange features that didn't quite fit with the rest of the machine. Because of that, scientists think something important might be missing. Maybe extra gears were lost when the ship sank or removed before the machine ever got on board. No one knows for sure. This mystery has pushed many researchers to try building their device versions. to guess what the Greeks might have added in that missing space. Over time, as scientists studied more of the machine's inner parts and decoded more of the writing, some old guesses were proven wrong, and new, more innovative ideas emerged. In the 1970s, Derek Price made a simple model to show how it might have worked. Later, in 2002, Michael Wright took things further.
This is my model of the Antikythera mechanism. The mechanism's a box full of gear wheels.
He built a complete model using the known parts of the machine and added extra gears to show the paths of the planets, like Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. His idea included the moon's strange orbit and the sun's odd movement. His version had lots of spinning parts and pointed markers showing the positions of the planets in the sky. But in 2010, a different group, Evans, Carman, and Thorndike, had a simpler idea. They noticed something unusual about how the markings were placed on the front dial. The sun pointer might have been a bit off-center to them. It would mean the whole thing could work with fewer gears if true. Instead of showing where each planet was all the time, their model just showed when a planet appeared, disappeared, or changed direction in the sky. That made the whole thing less complex and easier to build. They also found a way to explain a gear with 63 teeth that no one had figured out. Their idea was that instead of using pillars and supports to hold heavy parts, the designers might have just placed simple pictures, like weather symbols, in little windows. Freeth and Jones proposed a version of the mechanism in 2012, creating a 3D computer model that solved many puzzles. Their design used 2 pointers to show both the sun's average and accurate positions. Although their version resembled Wright's design externally, it worked differently inside. Their system featured 3 small gears to simulate the sun's varying speed throughout the year. One gear stayed stationary, another turned freely, and the third had a pin and sliding arm to mimic the sun's path. The system tracked the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, and the Sun, using epicyclic gears connected to a central axis, syncing with the Earth's year. Each gear was linked to a bar that slid into a coaxial tube, leading to a pointer in front of the dials, indicating the position of each planet. The design minimized metal use by incorporating slotted bars instead of full gears, reducing interference between the mechanisms. This setup included 5 gears and 3 slotted bars in total. The design for the outer planets, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, follows a similar principle. Like the inner planets, each planet has an epicyclic gear with a pin and slot. These gears mesh with other parts, driving a coaxial tube and pointer that move along a set path. Each mechanism fits neatly into a quadrant of the central axis, sharing a single plane with the front dial. These systems also use ground gears and additional parts, adding up to 12 new gears. When you put everything together, 8 spindles of different sizes transfer the rotations to the pointers. This makes the total gear count reach 54 gears, 3 slotted bars, and 8 pointers, all working together in the mechanism's intricate design. Looking at the visual display, Freeth's version includes stones on the pointers, each representing a different planet. He even references an ancient papyrus that describes the stars with specific stones, gold for the sun, silver for the moon, and unique stones for each planet. These details give the mechanism an added layer of symbolism and beauty. Recent research has shed light on the precision of this mechanism. In 2016, CT scans revealed new numbers, improving our understanding of its accuracy, especially for Venus and Saturn. In 2018, the Antikythera Mechanism Research Project used CT scans to uncover new insights, leading to updates in the gear system and the creation of new mechanical parts based on their findings. By March 2021, the Antikythera research team from University College London, led by Freeth, unveiled a new proposed reconstruction of the entire mechanism. They discovered that gears could be shared across different planetary gear trains using simple numbers to approximate the synodic cycles. Numbers like 7 and 17 were used for multiple planets. Their research showed that earlier models didn't match the new data, but their updated model did. Freeth also shared a video explaining how they figured out the synodic cycles and how the mechanism likely worked. The Great Unveil. Just when things seemed perfect, in 2025, a group of scientists from Argentina decided to give the ancient Antikythera mechanism another test. but this time they used a computer simulation. They weren't just trying to recreate how it moved, they also added one big detail missing in earlier models: the shape of the gear teeth. You see, the teeth on the gears of this ancient device weren't smooth or modern looking. They were shaped like tiny triangles. In the real world, that kind of design can make the gears slip, grind, or jam, especially when things aren't built with perfect precision. So, the scientists added these real-life flaws into their simulation to see how the device would work. What they found was surprising. The machine could only run for about 4 months before it would break down. The gears would get stuck, or the whole thing would stop working. The user would have to go back, reset everything, and try again. Imagine turning a dial to check a date, only for the entire machine to freeze like a printer error. That's what it was like. At first, this made people wonder, was the Antikythera mechanism just a cool-looking toy? Maybe it wasn't meant to be accurate. Maybe it came with instructions that said, only turn a few times, then restart. It was kind of like a wind-up watch that needs adjusting every day. But then again, this thing was made with crazy precision. Someone put a lot of skill and effort into crafting every single part. Why make it so complicated if it wasn't meant to be useful? The scientists had another idea. Maybe the version we're looking at today isn't what it used to be. After all, it's been underwater for over 2,000 years. Rust, damage, and missing pieces might have changed the shape of the gears, and the scans we use to measure it can only go so far. So it's possible the real version, the one fresh off the workbench, worked fine and didn't jam. Whatever the truth, one thing is sure, the Antikythera mechanism was far ahead of its time. Surprisingly, it's not the only ancient invention that was too advanced for its era. Recent groundbreaking revelations have shed light on other such discoveries. Recent findings under a 10,000-old megastructure. Using cutting-edge radar technology called synthetic aperture radar, 2 scientists, Professor Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi from the University of Strathclyde, made a mind-blowing discovery: an underground city hidden beneath the well-known pyramids. This isn't just an ordinary find. It's more than an extra burial chamber. It's an entire network of underground rooms, tunnels, and staircases stretching across all 3 main pyramids. Inside the Pyramid of Khafra, they uncovered 5 new structures, one of which is believed to be the pharaoh's tomb, complete with a sarcophagus. Scientists believe these newly discovered rooms are linked to tunnels that extend far beneath the surface, potentially hiding even more secrets. This theory was confirmed when electromagnetic signals were turned into detailed images, revealing a much larger underground network. The scans revealed massive vertical shafts, possibly wells or passageways, stretching over 6,500 feet and descending 2,000 feet into the earth. To better understand this, the team created a 3-dimensional model of the underground network. It showed 8 large wells and spiral passageways leading deep into the earth. The team's spokesperson, Nicole Ciccolo, hinted that these chambers might be connected to the legendary Halls of Amenti, which was said to contain the Hall of Records, a secret room filled with ancient knowledge. Radar expert Lawrence Conyers supports this theory, suggesting the 5 smaller structures could be tied to the area's ancient history, noting that the land was considered sacred long before the pyramids were built. Archaeologists and historians have started investigating these new findings, but no one knows what these vast underground features were used for. Plans to dig deeper and confirm whether these structures are man-made are already in motion, but not everyone agrees with these findings. Dr. Zahi Hawass, a well-known archaeologist and former Egypt's Minister of Antiquities, dismissed the discovery as false and fake news. He claims the radar methods used are not scientifically approved. He's not alone in rejecting these claims. Some experts point out that the research hasn't been peer-reviewed and are skeptical about its authenticity. Many dismiss the discovery because it challenges everything we thought we knew about the pyramids, even though we still understand little about them. More puzzles from the pyramid. One of the biggest mysteries of the Giza pyramids is how they were built. Even more surprising is the hidden knowledge inside them. For example, the pyramid's alignment with the cardinal directions is so precise, it's more accurate than any modern building. What's even stranger is that this alignment may have been even more accurate when the pyramid was first built. considering the Earth's axis slowly shifts over time. But it's not just the alignment that's remarkable. The pyramid's location on Earth seems deliberate.
So apparently, through the use of LiDAR, they have discovered that there are enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that...
A line drawn through its cardinal directions crosses more land than any other spot on the planet, placing it perfectly at the center of the world's landmass. The pyramid's measurements are equally extraordinary. Instead of using inches, the ancient builders used the cubit, a unit of measurement that matches 1/25 millionth of the Earth's polar diameter. Even more mind-blowing is that the pyramid's base length equals 365.24 cubits, matching the number of days in a year down to the fraction of a day. Not only does the pyramid reflect the dimensions of Earth, but it also mirrors the northern hemisphere. Its perimeter matches the scale of the Earth's equator, and the pyramid's coordinates align perfectly with the speed of light. These astonishing calculations raise an important question. Could the ancient Egyptians have known more about the Earth and the cosmos than we realize? The precise design of the pyramid and the Antikythera mechanism makes us wonder. Was this all just a coincidence, or is there something deeper behind their creation? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.